Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We've got an exclusive report from Fox News. Peter Doocy just revealed the text of Joe Biden's letter to Trump. I'm going to be watching this video with you for the first time. You don't want to miss this. This is crazy. Check it out.
This is a Fox News alert, and a pretty historic one at that. President Trump has revealed the context of the letter that former President Biden left to him. This is a Fox News exclusive, and let me put this into perspective. There have only been 7 presidents that left a letter to their predecessors, 6 who left a letter to the opposite political party. And Biden was just the 3rd to have to pen a letter to someone who was a political opponent, in this case, a former political opponent. This is history, and we at Fox News have the content of this letter.
Wow.
Well, we begin with Peter Doocy. He's live on the White House lawn. And Peter, this is only the 3rd time in our history we have a letter exactly like this one. What does it say?
And Kaylee, we saw the other night on Monday, just a few minutes after President Trump returned to the Oval Office, I asked him if the president left him a letter. He hadn't checked yet. He opened up the drawer. We were only able to see the outside of the envelope that said 47. We can report now, for the first time anywhere in the world, this history-making text of what it said on the inside. The letterhead was of Joseph R. Biden Jr. It said President of the United States. And his cursive handwriting that I reviewed was difficult to read at times, but this is what I got from the letter. Let's read it together. Dear President Trump, as I take leave of this sacred office, I wish you and your family all the best in the next 4 years. The American people and people around the world look to this house for steadiness in the inevitable storms of history. And my prayer is that in the coming years will be a time of prosperity, peace, and grace for our nation. May God bless you and guide you as he has blessed and guided our beloved country since our founding. Joe Biden, 1/20/25. And that is it. I got a call.
Wow, guys. Okay, stay tuned. We're going to break this down. We're going to look through this line by line and see exactly what Joe Biden was thinking, what he was saying in this letter. So stay tuned, guys. This is insane stuff.
All that President Trump was ready to share the contents of the letter. We heard him last night describe it as inspirational. And that is, we can confirm the president's assessment. All right. It is an inspirational, forward-looking well-wish, and quite possibly the only time that they will exchange letters ever again. Kaylee?
Peter, so I'm interested to know, was that the entirety of the letter? I'm looking right now on my phone at images of past letters, and they tend to be a little longer, 3, sometimes 4 paragraphs, going into detail. That's a very gracious letter that Biden left, but was that the entirety of it?
That was the entirety of the letter, yes. Handwritten by President Biden on his personal stationery, just one side of one page.
Another question for you. This comes, and I think this is important context for our viewers. He penned this letter, and I'm wondering if you know the timeline of Biden penning this letter. As I understand, it was on the day of the inauguration. So he pens this letter, and he rides off with President Trump, and then he pardons members of his family in a way in which President Trump would have found out about it in the aftermath of his speech. So it's a gracious letter, but it comes on the heels of maybe an acrimonious decision intended to be shielded from the current president.
And I don't know the exact timeline, but to your point, it's possible that he used the same pen to sign the pardons and then write this note to President Trump.
Oh, goodness.
Wow, Peter, thank you very much. That is history that you just made. Very interesting.
It is history. Yep.
Great. Well, let's bring in Bret Baier, chief political anchor and of Special Report, anchor and executive editor as well. Bret, it's history in the making, and you know there will be inevitable critics who say, you know, this was a private letter. Biden said that he would not share the contents of Trump's letter because it was privacy issues he had on his mind. But I'm looking at 5 letters right here on my phone from past presidents that did get out into the public because it's history. People are interested, and these tend to be gracious letters.
Yeah, good afternoon, Kaylee. It is history, and we're seeing it real time as we have since Inauguration Day, as this fast and furious kind of drinking from the fire hose of history. He finds the letter real time in the Oval Office desk, thanks to Peter's questioning, and then gives the letter to Peter to bring forward. I think on both fronts, it's very magnanimous. On President Biden and what is the substance of the letter, this is what we talked about on Inauguration Day, the transfer of power, the passing of the torch, the tradition that everybody looks to in between administrations. President Biden didn't put out President Trump's letter and could have, but in the wake of that, and obviously in the wake of January 6th, there was a different sense. This is magnanimous also on President Trump's part, because it does make President Biden look good in the handover of this moment. So.
Okay, guys, real quick, and we're gonna continue watching this because just to his point, isn't it like drinking out of a fire hose over the last few weeks, but it's even days? Last few days have been insane, the amount of news, and we're going to be right here for it, all of Donald Trump's presidency, and I'm hoping he continues this pace and just keeps pushing things forward. But looking at the wording of that letter, I thought, it's a gracious letter, it's a nice letter, but is it just words? To their point, with the same pen that he's writing these gracious words and wishing Donald Trump luck, and I'll give him credit for that. That's great. That's awesome. That's what you should do. But with the same pen, he's now pardoning his entire family. So he looks good on the outside, but if you look just a little bit on the inside, you're going to see corruption, and you're going to see him putting himself above the American people. And I think that the wording, it would be very interesting to see what Donald Trump said in his letter, because there's a difference between Trump and Biden's language and communication style, and that is Trump is assertive, Biden is passive. So my question is, does this letter align with Biden's public messaging during the presidency? Because during the presidency, he was saying if Donald Trump wins, like, the world is going to end. It's over. So let me know down in the comments, guys, what you think on whether or not that letter aligns with Biden's public messaging during the presidency. Do you think Biden even wrote it, or do you think someone else wrote it and he just penned it? Let me know what you think down in the comments, guys. And also, do me a big favor, hit that like button. It really helps out the channel and the algorithm. Okay, let's continue watching this, guys. Get the full breakdown on this exclusive reporting here.
I think it says a lot about our republic. It says a lot about the mindset of President Trump right now, feeling comfortable in his skin to do that. And we'll see, what happens as far as other elements of retribution or looking backwards. I think he's kind of looking forwards, at least at the moment.
Brett, I noticed a commonality here. There was a line that stood out to me. It was a short letter, but he said they look to this house, to the White House, for steadiness in the storms of history. And you get this kind of tacit acknowledgement between our very small group of 47 presidents that they understand the storms together, despite being from different political parties. I'm looking at the letter that George W. Bush left to Barack Obama. There will be trying moments. Your friends will disappoint you, but you will have an almighty God to comfort you. I'm looking at George H.W. Bush to Bill Clinton. There will be tough times made even more difficult by criticisms you may not think are fair. There's this unique understanding among these 47 men as to what they face.
Listen, the job of president is the toughest job in the world. It comes with a heavy, heavy burden. Every day you get as you well know, Kaylee, you get a daily brief that's the size of a small phone book of real threats facing the U.S. And specific sometimes. There are heavy decisions that have to be made every day. So those letters, those handovers in the Resolute desk mean something between a very small group of men who have held this job. And sharing this letter is, I just think it's great for the nation to see this transfer and to see how they go from one to the other. As you say, other letters have come out in the past, and this one a little bit quicker than perhaps the others.
Brett, I just want to share my favorite line, I think, ever penned in a presidential letter, and it was from George H.W. Bush. And he begins his letter, When I walked into this office, this is to Bill Clinton, I just now felt the same sense of wonder and respect that I felt 4 years ago. I know you will feel that too. And I thought to myself, you know, as I read that, for 4 years, the wonderment never wears off. Every time I walked onto that sunbeam pattern rug that Nancy left to her husband, that now sits on the floor of President Trump's Oval Office, I never lost that sense of wonder. And these presidents, it appears, don't lose it either.
Yeah, I mean, I covered the White House for 4 years. Every time I walked in the Oval Office, it was this bewilderment, this awe, and it didn't get old. There's a great video that Speaker Johnson has on X that he posted as he's walking behind Vice President Vance, who was going into the Oval Office for the first time. And that bewilderment of the power of that office hits him as President Trump is showing him around. This is history. This is important. These things will get remembered in the history books. And I think that we have to absorb things day to day because this is coming at us fast and there's a lot to absorb. So hopefully we'll be able to bring that to you real time. Congratulations to Peter for getting that letter and bringing it forward.
No doubt. And I saw that video, Brett, J.D. Vance, from poverty and the lowliest of circumstances to the Oval Office as vice president. It was quite something to watch. Thank you so much, Brett.
You bet. See you at 1.
Guys, doesn't that just, and there's more I want to show you here. Okay, more I want to show you, but so keep watching and be sure you hit that subscribe button. Join the channel, guys. But what I wanted to say is, doesn't that just give you just that pride, that feeling of, we live, guys, in the best country in the whole world. And our history is one to be treasured. Have there been low times? Yes. Have there been dark times? Yes. Have we had leaders that maybe didn't live the fullest potential of what they could have done? Yes. But maybe Biden is trying to get out graciously. We can give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't know. Maybe he's trying to build a bridge here at the end. Maybe he's trying to unify the country because we've been so divided over the last few months and years that maybe this is a time of unification. And maybe Biden has taken the first step here in saying, hey, Donald Trump, I wish you luck. I wish you the best. Let's build an amazing, fantastic, next generation country here in the United States. Let's do it. The future looks bright, guys. You can feel it right now. There's energy. Man. All right, guys, don't forget, hit that like button. Help out the channel. Appreciate all the support, guys. Got a big announcement here at the end, but I want to show you the rest of this here.
You know, Harris, it's really quite something. I penned a letter to my successors. I didn't just leave one to Jen Psaki. I also left one to Karine Jean-Pierre, left it in the little drawer. I not only signed the White House press secretary desk, but I had baby Blake do it too. So Blake Gilmartin is pinned in the White House press secretary desk. What a special moment now that we know the contents of that letter.
Yeah, you know, I was just looking at it as well. It's only 2 paragraphs. And the second paragraph is really short. Well, it's 1 sentence. So may God bless you and guide you as he has blessed and guided our beloved country since our founding. Look, not a lot of words. The president was on camera when he was trying to find the letter that Biden had left behind. Just the way that things laid out with Biden in his last 30 days, we'll probably forget the acrimony that he must have been feeling. But there's some things that are going to be lasting. You know, you said that there have only been 7 presidents. You and Peter said this, because this was in his report, who've ever gotten a letter like this that was left by a predecessor. And only 6 of them were left for the opposite party. That's 45 presidents, because a couple did not serve double terms. Grover Cleveland and Donald Trump on the first time around. They were not consecutive. But 45 men, as you pointed out, who have something in common, and even so far fewer than that who have this in common, getting that letter. So it is monumental. I would think you'd want to say as much as you could. But again, we get that sort of clue that things were not all right with Joe Biden when he left. They were chippy politically, even within his own party, and he did what was necessary, but nothing more.
Now, guys, this is a great point. And I got to ask you this question. So answer it down in the comments. But do you think that, notice that, Fox News, the media, they're they're covering Biden in a somewhat positive light, and that they're saying, hey, you know, the letter that you wrote, it was gracious, it was nice, it was kind. Do you think that liberal media, Democratic-run media, CNN, all the other mainstream media, do you think that they would show the correspondence from Republicans in the same positive light? Like, I know the letter from Trump didn't release it, but if it did, do you think that mainstream media would have covered that in this positive light as Fox News and other right-leaning media is covering Biden's letter? Just a question. Not really sure. Want to know what you think, but this is what I'll say. We do need equal accountability in political reporting. All right? Doesn't matter if you're CNN or Fox News. We need to give credit where credit's due. And so I appreciate them doing that here. And again, trying to build some unity.
And what was necessary, he did, to your point, and nothing more. That's well said. Cheryl, you know, CNN reported that Biden was in a dark place when he left. And I understand that from a human perspective. It was a dark place when we left the Trump administration. It is not easy to transition power, but we do it for the love of our country. And, you know, as I think about that in the short letter, it's a gracious thing to do. It's a hallmark of our democracy. It's a hallmark of what makes this country great, transitioning power, leaving beautiful letters like this.
I felt my emotion when listening to Peter reading the letter was sadness, actually, for Joe Biden, because you can hear in the words and the length of the letter that this was a very difficult goodbye for him. Not just from the letter that Peter just wrote, but also that read to us, but also from, look at the exit interviews from Joe Biden. Look at the exit interview of Kamala Harris. They knew that they'd made a lot of mistakes, that the country was in a worse place. And I think that there's some guilt. I'm going to be frank. I feel that they've got guilt because of what has happened, whether it was Afghanistan, or was it the economy. I did like the words peace and prosperity, because the incoming administration, now the administration, has got a lot on their plate. And I think it was very gracious of Joe Biden to wish him well, knowing what Donald Trump is in for. And there's a lot of things happening right now globally that are very disconcerting.
And Jerry, you think about the timing of this. I would love to know, did he go from penning this letter at the Oval Office, writing it down, to his next signature being the pardons for his family members?
It's almost impossible to imagine, right? And I'm going to ask a question maybe I shouldn't be asking. Did he write this? Not did he pen it?
No, it's fair.
Were these his words? I mean, I don't know. I assume they were. Many presidents do this. But just to your point about being in the Oval Office and how that feels, I've only done it once with George W. Bush. And let me tell you, they took a picture. My eyes are as big as saucers. This is where history is made. This is where excitement happens. So it's a big moment.
Yeah, you know, it's been when I walked in, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, this is my first time in the Oval Office. I'm briefing the president. You walk past this grandfather mahogany clock. You sit across from the Resolute desk, a gift from Queen Victoria in the 1800s. And you sit on this gold couch and you look at where the decisions, to your point, Jerry, history is made at that desk we're looking at.
It's an incredible experience when you walk in there. I walked in there first with Bush 43, and he smiled and grinned. He looked at me. He was like, it's pretty cool, isn't it? Yes, Mr. President's pretty cool. He's like, not bad for a boy from Mississippi. He knew I was from Memphis, Tennessee, and that was his knock because I went to Ole Miss, and he called me Mississippi the entire time I got to work with him. And he never called me, Christmas parties. Hey, Mississippi, come on over. I'm like, really? But I go back to the other part about this. I think this was a legacy letter for Joe Biden. It was a check-the-box moment.
Yeah, he had to do it.
But it's not reality. The reality is he had to save the criminal actions of his family right before or right after he wrote this letter. That's the reality of his administration. When Joe Biden was walking out to go transfer power and puts a very nice exclamation point with a letter to Donald Trump, he really had to do something that is unconscionable. He had to give out pardons to people that he believes were breaking the law. And Joe Biden's legacy is not what the words in that letter to me. His legacy is his family needed a bailout because of their criminal actions that he now is admitting. We exploited the U.S. government. We exploited it all the way back to 2014. And we made as much money as we could selling access to the U.S. government through all of my family members that I'm going to pardon right now. So I look at this as, hey, you may have tried to make this your legacy with a really kind well-worded letter that maybe you didn't even write, but you copied it down like you're in second grade. But the final moments of his presidency were covering for his family's actions. That is his legacy, and that's why I think he was probably so sad when he's leaving the Oval Office.
Well, it's typewritten. All he had to do was sign his name. So he didn't even have to copy it.
Yeah.
So there's that. And the only person who's not on that list of family, really, and I don't know that she was ever part of the investigations, is Joe Biden. So that I thought that was interesting. We haven't even talked about his wife and what she may have seen throughout the years. She certainly had a front row seat to whatever history was going on.
This letter is a symbol. It's not a symbol of Biden's successful reign. It's not a symbol of even Biden's goodwill. It's not a symbol of Biden's righteousness. It's a symbol of Trump's successful return to leadership. It's a symbol of the American people that had enough of the failed leadership of the Biden administration. And the impact on Trump's supporters and conservative morale, I think, can be stated that, you know, Biden is trying to bring unity here, but maybe is it too, and I'm going to ask this question to you. Put it in the chat. Put it in the comments down below. Is it too little too late? Was this a kind gesture, or was this a cover-up for what his other hand was doing by writing pardons to people? Anytime you write a pardon for someone, anytime you give a pardon to somebody where they haven't even committed a crime yet, or we don't even know, that's super suspicious, guys. Like, you don't do that. That's corrupt. That is the definition of corruption. Anyway, you know what? Donald Trump's got a lot of momentum right now, and there's positive vibes about the new golden age of America. I'm excited about it. A big announcement for you guys. If you've watched all the way to this point, first of all, if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. What are you doing? And like the video, guys. It really helps out the channel. I appreciate all the support. So if you're a good conservative Christian that believes in the future of America, hit that like button. It will help out my channel. All right, I got a question for you, and then I'm going to make this announcement. What do you think Biden's letter to Trump reveals about his leadership? Does it reveal weakness and indecision? Does it reveal respect for tradition? Does it reveal a calculated political move? Maybe it doesn't reveal anything significant at all. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Okay, guys, we just hit the 1,000 subscriber mark. Y'all are absolutely insane legends, beasts, guys. Better than I could ever have expected. We launched this channel 3 months ago. We are now fully monetized with 1,000 subscribers, and we're launching memberships on the channel. Now, I'm going to talk more about those memberships in the next video, but I want y'all to be looking out for them because I'm going to try to do some special things for all of you as we build this community of like-minded citizens of this great country of America. And you know what, guys? We have a vision for a future that looks so bright, and I'm so excited to be a part of it, guys. Such an amazing time to be alive and to see the next generation of prosperity for America. Okay, guys, that is all for today. Again, thanks for watching to this point, guys. Y'all are the real MVPs. I will see you in the next video, guys. Y'all take it easy. Peace.